Thanks for tuning in. This is Southern Living Windows out of Plano, Texas. We are doing an install, a full install in Arlington, Texas. And I will do a voiceover and explain the product we use and kind of how we do the install. This is one of my guys putting the extension on the ladder. This is actually called a standoff. Just like this ladder, it allows you to stand away from the window as we're working. So first things first, you can see him taking the screens off. These are the solar screens on the windows. Normally people don't really use solar screens anymore because windows come with what's called low E, either low E 366 or 360, and it takes the place of a solar shade. So we take those off and they don't go back on. Actually, the customer wanted to save these in case somebody in the neighborhood had her same floor plan and wanted to use them. So you can see him measuring a window right here. This is a big triple unit window. Um, I always recommend measuring your windows before you pull them out. You never know if the manufacturer made the window an eighth of an inch different, or if you mismeasured the window by an eighth of an inch. So always better to measure and then go down the ladder, measure the window just to make sure there's no problems. So right here, my guy is taking out the glass. You can take the top piece of glass out first or take the bottom piece out. That's just our system, how we do it. And then you'll see him collapse in the frame right here. You got to get this frame out before you can pull the window out. The frame is slides up and down, and you can get it out very easily. So here's my guy right now. This is the triple unit upstairs. And what he's doing is that he's removing the strips. We call them snap beads sometime, or just trim strips. And those trim strips hold the window in, along with the glue that's in between the glass and the frame of the window. So we'll remove those first. And then we'll start to heat the glass out. Here he is on the outside of the window. He's got a torch in his hand out there, and what he's doing, he's going around the glass, around the frame of the window, heating the glue that's in between the glass and the frame, heating that glue so it makes the removal of the glass easier. You can see him sitting the glass down right there. We have tarps on the ground. We don't sit the glass directly on the carpet, and I would recommend anybody doing this not to do that. It will leave a stain. The glue that's in between the two panes of glass, or the spacer, it melts from the sun and leaves like a gooey mess. So always set it on a tarp or whatever you have to protect the floor. So he just got done heating out the glass here, and he's taking his putty knife and he's going to push the glass in. Glass is out. We always cut the mullions. These are called mullions, but we always cut these, and this weakens the entire frame so we can get it out a lot easier. You'll see him cut that with the Sawzall. So here's the guy bringing the new windows up into the bedroom. What we've done here is we removed all the glass from the bottom of the units. This is the triple, so we removed that just to reduce the weight of the window going up, because it's really heavy with those in there. And since they're removable, we'll just put them back in later. So here is my guy taking out the frame of the window. These actually came out really, really easily. Yeah, you got to get these out to get the rest of the frame out. Here he's taking more glass upstairs. So this is basically a two-man job right here to put just a single pane or a single unit double pane window in. We would have we would have put this in from the inside, but there was so much stuff in this bedroom that it was difficult to get around. So we just did it from outside. He'll put that in there. Now, the important thing right now is when you get the window in the opening is to level the window out. And that's what they'll do here. And then after you level it out, you want to open the window and close it and see if the latches work really well. You don't want one latch tight and the other latch loose. That tells you the window's in there kind of caulked. See, there he is checking the window. The latches will give you a lot of information, especially on a triple unit. You know, if you have a tight latch somewhere, then we're going to shim that part up and correct it. So that's what he's doing here. You can see him shimming it up on the left side. So here he is taking out the window frame. I don't know the name of that tool, but it's a great tool. Helps to bend that window out of the opening. And you can see he's got a board there. So we don't put that tool directly on the sheetrock. It'll damage the sheetrock, of course. So we use a board about 10 inches long, and we put it between the tool and the sheetrock. We actually wrap that board too with a nice soft cloth so we don't scratch the sheetrock. You got to remember what you're trying to do here is you are trying to leave and install this job without a trace of you being there, really, except for new windows. So here they are putting the triple unit up. 4-man job right here. I would recommend 4 men to do this. 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. And then they'll level it out, and I'll put the sashes in. So here I am. Actually, I had the customer hold the phone and do some recording for me. I know how to put the sashes in really nicely. So that's me putting the sashes in. The word sash is just a name for the bottom piece of the window that slides up and down. That's a sash. So I'm putting these in, and they have clips, so you can see me put the sash in and then lower it down to the clip, and then I'll come back and I'll trigger the clip, both clips on each side, and I'll put the sash all the way down. Great customers too. He held my phone for me. I thank him a lot. So here I am triggering the little switches right there on each side. Trigger that one. Come back over, trigger that one. Slide the window down, check the latch, all good. So if the latches are all good, then you can anchor that window down, which you'll do now. We'll anchor this window down in about 9 different spots. We'll put 3 in the side of each side, and we'll put 3 at top. You don't ever want to screw a window down from the bottom of the frame. You're asking for trouble there with water damage and stuff. If you screw from the bottom, then you're going to create a hole, and water will get in there, and it will slowly but surely rot away. So here we are in the bathroom. He's taking the strips out. That's step number 1. Step number 1 is actually taking the screen off. Step number 2 is taking these strips off. And then you can see him on the outside with the torch. He's heating the glass. He's heating the frame, actually, that heats the glue that's attached to the glass. And you got to get every bit of that strip out too. If you leave like 5 or 10% of that strip in, it will hold the window back. Here we are taking out a twin single hung window upstairs. And remember, if you're doing this, anything shorter than 2 foot, you're going to need what's called a WOCD. That's a window, WOCD, that's a window operation child device. You're going to need a WOCD in there. Anything above 2 foot, 2 feet you don't have to worry about. So here he is heating out the glass. Then he'll use his putty knife to pop the glass inwards to the other guy. Great workers too. These guys have been with me for like 8 years now. They're really good at what they do. I do all the measurements for my jobs. I don't allow anybody else to do any measurements for me. Too stressful. So right here, he's taking his putty knife, going around and popping that out. Here we are cutting the frame. It's always easier to cut the center framing at the bottom because that's where the strongest point is instead of the middle. Sometimes if you try to cut that frame in the middle with a Sawzall, it'll just shake back and forth. So best to cut it down low. That's the strongest point of that frame right there. You can see it shaking right there actually. But he got it cut. Now we'll bend that out. And we have tarps under these windows on the outside. So anything you see them throwing out, it's landing on a tarp. You know, I recommend doing that because if they have a flower bed or something like that, it is not easy getting every little piece out. And we, like I said, we want to leave like we've never been there. We want to leave everything intact and like the windows grew in overnight. So here's a good shot of him using the board between the sheetrock to get that framing out. He's got the board wrapped so it's not leaving marks on the sheetrock. And after we get this framing out, we'll go back along with our knife and we'll cut off all the old caulking. Anytime in siding, I'll order the window thickness of 2 5/8. Anytime it's in brick, the window thickness of the new window will be 3 1/4 inches. So all the windows going in this house, I think there's 16 or 17 windows. They're all 2 5/8. You don't want a 3 1/4 inch thick window sticking out of siding. It looks ugly. Okay, there the new window is in. Sashes are already in, it looks like. He's got the standoff on the center sash rail. So it's not on the glass. You don't want to put the ladder and the standoff on the glass. It will break. That is it for now. Thank you for watching, tuning in,
and we will see you on the next one.